Hello and welcome back to the Common Connected podcast. This summer, I wanted to support the adults who listen to this podcast. I'm talking to the educators, the teachers, the counselors, the other mental health professionals, the occupational therapists, the speech and language pathologists, and the family members who listen because they are looking for support for their kids and teens. One thing that often happens as adults is that we tend to put our own needs in the back burner and we don't take time to rest and recharge. This summer, I want to encourage you to find coping skills that work for you. Throughout the whole summer, I'm resharing a series I did a little bit ago called Coping Skills for Adults. And really what I'm doing is going through the coping styles that I use in Coping Skills for Kids, but I'm turning it to us and thinking about what strategies will work for us, what is going to help us rest and recharge and re-energize before the beginning of the next school year. This is one of the first steps I'm taking to support the adults, so I'm also working on a book to help support the adults. If you'd like to learn more about the book or share your coping skills with me anonymously, you can visit Coping Skills for Kids, and under products there is a section called Coping Skills for Adults. There you'll find a survey that you can take and share your coping skills with me anonymously, and also you'll be able to sign up for my newsletter and get a free brainstorming sheet to help you think of your own strategies to help you rest, relax, and re-energize before the next school year. I wish you a happy and calm summer. And today we are talking about coping skills for adults, and we are focusing on the movement style. So in the last several solo episodes, I've been covering different coping skills for adults, going through the different coping styles that I use in my work when I talk about coping skills for kids. So it's been fun going through and finding some different ways that we can, as adults, cope in different styles as well. So today is all about movement, and I really wanted to focus on big body movement and in particular exercise, because there's a lot of research out there for exercise and its benefits. So first of all, it helps your physical functioning. Second, there's been studies that talk about how much it improves your cognitive function. But the study that I found the most interesting, especially for us who are talking about mental health, we're always kind of focusing on that on this podcast. There was a study that was done about the effects of your exercise on your mental health. So it was determined that people who exercised had fewer days of poor mental health than people who didn't exercise at all. And then you may be wondering, well, what kind of exercise did they do? Well, they found that it didn't matter what kind of exercise you did at all. It was all exercise types were associated with this fewer days of poor mental health, which I find interesting because, as I'm researching and looking at, what are the best ways of exercise, there's a New York Times article, I can link to it, talking about what are the best ways of exercise. Really what it comes down to is the best exercise is something that is sustainable for you, something that gives you joy, something that helps you de-stress, helps you relax, helps you chill out, whatever it is that you need to do, whatever feels good in your body in terms of, making sure that you are able to re-energize yourself. That's what is the best kind of movement for you. Whatever is something that you can actually do long term. What are you going to keep up? There's people who do a lot of intense exercising at the gym, but it's really hard to sustain that long term. So what is something that is sustainable for you for a long time so that you'll be more willing and more able to do those exercises? So you may or may not know, at the end of interview podcasts that I do with other people, I typically ask what are the ways that they cope, what are the ways that they de-stress or relax. So I had an opportunity to talk with Marcelle Waldman, who runs Feelinks, and she talked about some movement that she likes to do. So she likes to go to Bar 3 classes, and she likes to dance in her kitchen, which I'm all about. I'm a kitchen dancer myself, so I appreciate a good break time doing a little dance in the kitchen. I think it's phenomenal. So I really thought that was great. And another person I talked to was Wendy Snyder, and she talked about how she is a body surfer. How cool is that? And she also talked about going to get to kettlebell training classes. So I believe when I spoke with her, she really talked about the bonuses and benefits of having the camaraderie of people coming together and supporting each other. And there's something phenomenal about that. When you take group exercise classes, you do get that way that you can encourage each other, you can connect with other people, you have a shared experience. It can be really fun to take classes. But I want you to think about what are the things that you can do to move your body in a way that feels good for you. So, sometimes I get on Instagram and I have fallen down this rabbit hole of like hula hooping and roller skating. I think that's just my zany sort of Instagram. It's fine. But I enjoy that because you see people having fun and having a good time and also moving their body. I love to watch the people who are, learning how to roller skate, learning how to hula hoop as they get older and trying different things and continuing to challenge themselves. I think that's really cool. I've also talked with some mom friends of mine who've talked about like boxing. I remember one particular mom friend really, she's like, it feels so good. It feels wonderful. And it is like, I leave everything on the mat. I get it all out. I'll get all of my frustrations out. So I have to go to my boxing class every week. Some people really like swimming. Some people really enjoy golfing. Some people love tennis. I think it's whatever is going to be a way that helps you continue to move your body and again, be sustainable. That's what you should be looking at and trying to do to make sure that you are reaping the benefits of not only the physical bonuses, but also the cognitive bonuses and the mental health bonuses. So myself, I have always been a fan of Zumba since I first started it. I love to dance. I love to move my body in that way. So that always brings me joy in it. I do find it sustainable. I still love walking. Especially in nature. It helps clear my head. Sometimes I do the rower. Sometimes I use a bike. Sometimes I use a step. But, whatever way that I feel like moving that day is what I want to do. I just want to make sure I'm moving every day, at least a little bit. So I encourage you to do the same. I want you to find those ways that are going to be helpful to you, things that are going to be helpful to help you figure out what you need to do to move your body. And I just wanted to, again, remind you there is a downloadable worksheet where you can go through and try and figure out what are your own coping skills, going through all the different coping styles and figuring out what are things that you like to do by yourself, what are things that you like to do with other people, that sort of thing. So you can figure out what are the things that are going to sustain you, what's going to re-energize you, what's going to help you rest. So I'll make sure that there's a link to that in the show notes. If you like this podcast, please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And as always, don't forget about yourself. Take a few minutes, have a little fun, and have an awesome day.